at the top of your lungs. Oh no. Say yeah. There we go. My heat is working. What's up, everyone? It's me. This is O'Brien. My face is completely restructured again. Why? Well, I don't know. My cabeza. Alright. We're gonna talk for 10 minutes. I'm going to try to keep the sunlight. Doesn't it feel like better day? Pray for these baguettes, I pray for better day. I am praying like I'd rather have my dogs back. Lord, protect me with this tag. Wait, there was a song when I was young, and we had all school sing, but we would all get together in the gym, and we would sing, what happened to the dinosaurs? Where did they go? Was it common or cold, or did they just grow old? I guess we'll never know, but we do know they're the fucking crows. Those crows are evil fucking lizard dinosaur dragons. They sit at the edge of our consciousness and they eat. But that's not what I'm here for. What I wanted to talk about today to everybody. What's up, Michelle? My name means an ancient tree of life. I want to show you this. It's not my titty, don't worry. Dude, I got fat. I ain't gonna lie, I got fat. But there's a method to my madness. Okay. Bruh. I'm gonna take this shit out. Come on. I'm sleeping. In a tent. Where's the fucking tent? This is the tent I made to look like it's falling over. So people think the wind destroyed it. And then that happened. Yeah, what the fuck? Okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I really wanted to show you this. This might be very impactful if you made it this far. You hear this? I'm way back on a back road. Nobody showed up all day, but now that I'm live, they're here. It's all to take my focus away, so I can't shine with authenticity, but I know you all know something about that. I mean, if I had a Bible, I'd read it. Okay. So, I've been having one dream an hour where I've been sleeping. It's too cold to really fall asleep because it was negative 17 degrees before the wind chill last night. And this house protected me from the wind chill, but it did come through sometimes. So you get paranoid. You don't want to fall asleep because at any moment, look, I angled my tent so I'm hanging off a cliffside. So I thought people would see this and think, there's no way anybody's sleeping in that. It's fucking hanging off the side of a porch. If he was there, he would fall off immediately. But me, I'm a genius. I just don't sleep on that side. I haven't checked to see if my wagon is still here. But yeah, my name means an ancient tree of infinite love that taught the ancient Egyptians how to build the wilderness tabernacle, a structure in their mind they could use to connect to the heavens, to bring the light of God down. My middle name means free, and my last name means exalted, placed away with a high eminence and authority. And I'm a Sagittarius, and all except for my Taurus rising, my Venus in Scorpio, my Saturn in the first house in Taurus, and my Jupiter in the 12th house in Aries. It's all Sagittarius, Aquarius. Yeah, I think I said Venus in Scorpio. I forgot which house. But that means that if there was anyone to embody a generation of the Sagittarius, Aquarius kids, because Pluto's been in Sagittarius and Aquarius, it's going to be going on 60 years. So if there was anyone to embody that energy of the past few generations, it would be a Sagittarius. What's the other Sagittarius that's famous? Billie Eilish. You notice how her last song is about birds? Birds of a feather, we should stick together, I know. I've been living out with the birds, learning how to sing like birds. Who else? Casey Rocket, Kurt Kaz, KC, in my year of the fire cat. When I was born, we got to the year of the water cat, and then the KCC won the Super Bowl. Casey felt like, oh, I'm trapped, the devil's attacking me, oh my god. And then Taylor Swift is right by the KC with the arrowhead. I'm indigenous with the arrowhead, and she's doing the devil fingers, and then Ice Spice. Now, newsflash, joke's on you, those are all men. And the women that are actual women are being forced to look like men. But other than that, I just figured the best way of life is to figure out something. Like, I was like, what's the most perfect thing I can do to help everybody, to make an impact on the world? And I decided, I've persevered so much. I worked for 10 years making music, making songs. I've done so much that I'm seeing that this girl's name is Michelle Meliora, and the 1313 is 1133. 1313, 1133. You know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing I'm seeing a black darkness came over my hand, and it wrapped around the middle finger, and I saw the number 3 in darkness, but it had skin tone, faded white outline on it, which is that 11 energy, black and white. I'm doing good. I'm doing the best I can given the circumstance. I know I'm not. I could be, as long as I have faith of cowboys and kings, I know that things are going to go well. There's a lot more focus that's needed to really incorporate my mind to do what I'm capable of doing, because I know my potential. I know I could be one of the best. Here's the point. Other than I know I could be one of the best in sexy podcasts, whatever. I decided, because when you chase perfection, and I always get close, eventually your life becomes a song. If you chase the most perfect song, you realize the beauty of your life as a song. And every moment of your life is just another segment of that song, and you see how beautifully every decision was made, and you can see how it all interacts, and you're the composer of a symphony around you. At least I am. Sun in the 8th house, gang. Sagittarius with that streaming curiosity, and I can shoot, as a 33 life path Sagittarius, I can shoot healing across the world, and then bam, a new Casey pops up. It's like everywhere that I point my focus, these people that I want to be around get surrounded by people with the initials KC, or the name KC, or symbolism with a tree, or something with this. It has something to do with this green heart with angel wings. I also found out Sagittarius is the most loyal sign. But something about the Sagittarius is that somebody was a medic? Or do I need armor? Oh, I have tarot readers that love me, man. They see me through the ether, and then it opens up, and I can see them staring at me, and they recognize what they're looking at. That's so cool. And then because of that, I end up accidentally channeling their personality for a while, just because I've been degraded so much. That's why I seem to bounce back. And then a lot of people that find my content can find other people almost speaking through me. It's because you're all trees and plants, and you got to grow since your life started, and it's beautiful for you, and you got to do all these amazing things, and you grew in different ways, and you're proud of how far you've come. But the fact of the matter is, you all live inside an ecosystem, and that overarching ecosystem is what people would refer to as an evolved complex soul. We don't got to get into it. I just really hope that I can get my computer so I can do animation and make my stories come to life. But the point was, when I seek out the most perfect thing to do, I realize that the best thing to do is to just, I want to just start at the ground and build from the ground up. I wasn't talking about Will Survives, where he made content and went out in the woods and played Minecraft. I'm not talking about that. I mean, he threw away everything but what I had, just me, and I made it work outside. I didn't have like a family supporting me. I didn't have friends supporting me. I actually, like, all of the relationship, Son in the Eighth House gang, all of my relationships were actively opposing me and trying to gaslight me into a reality. The more control over my own energy that I got, I'm going to show you the lotus flower, but it's not purple. All the Satanists say that you have to have the lotus that's purple. I did get inspired to get the lotus. I went and got the lotus, and it was a big mistake. And then everybody kept coming up to me and saying, you should, because I used to go up to people and say, what color should I dye this? I did it blank because I liked the white because of Avatar, the White Lotus, but I didn't know what color it should do. And then I noticed the most devilish people would say, you should dye it purple. And they would look at me weird, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Come to find out, I saw a video the other day of an ex-Satanist that really followed it. And the way that it was like a missing piece of my life, that I didn't understand why a certain aspect of reality was happening to me, that this video solved for me. And this video was talking about a guy who followed the Antichrist like it was Jesus. He was like a strict religious guy, but the religion was specifically towards that darkness. And the thing that the Antichrist spirit that communicated with him through these demons, like that movie where the demon, remember that old movie where the demon jumps bodies with touch? And it was always repeating the same thing to the guy. I forgot what it was called. Oh yeah, Conor McGregor just hung out with Jake and Logan Paul. And my grandma's a Paul from the same area that those Pauls are. And I have dreams about Logan a lot, where he like gives my car a jump start sometimes, and then sometimes I'm in his penthouse, but it's like too demonic up there that I don't want to be there, and they get like freaky, and the shit that they see that they're almost like inviting me into, I don't want to be a part of it, so they get mad, but they also like have to bless me because of something with the divine and then their karma or something. But yeah, I'm calling these shots years in advance. I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen, and it's completely based off the simplicity of my life and my choices. So the choices that I dictate to prefer, I literally say that the world is going to be that way, and it becomes that way. I told you when I figured out in my year of the water cat, the influence that I had when I got to see all the different Caseys, Casey Rocket, Kurt Kaz, Kai Cenat, Kendrick Curry, Cassius Clay, Cassius Culpepper, the country singer, Kurt Cobain, the Kansas City Chiefs, and then my exes all dating people named Casey or stuff related to the tree or the green heart, and then the cycling, orbiting names like the moons or the rings around my planet, like the same names that embody the same archetypes or motifs or themes, and they all the same names are surrounding the other Caseys. And the Caseys are only showing up in those people's lives when I want to spend more time with them, like the manifestation of me comes through what might be NPCs or might be aliens that might be plays in the narrative, and those people are my soul tribe, and we're the only real ones. I have no real clue. Sometimes I fall into that, and sometimes I fall into it's all perception, and sometimes I fall into reality's moldable, and then sometimes it's all stripped away from me, and I'm forced to confront the absolute and the infinite, and that's really tough because it highlights where I've been unaccountable, and it makes me prioritize things. And has anybody noticed that the closer that we're getting to Aquarius season, the more easy it is to remember our dreams and feelings? Or for whatever reason, lately for me, that's been the case, is that my dreams used to just fade away because I couldn't hold on to that energy and also live in this world. But lately, it's like that energy's staying on me. I don't play the game where I hold all my lessons in and I try to grow and work anymore because of the amount of just chaos that happens around me. I mostly just like free-spirited, and people would seemingly think that I'm retarded, but it's more like I'm just taking whatever comes. No diddy. And so if like I see a floating tarot reader that's reading my tarot and I feel her energy hitting me, I don't like bounce back with my own energy, knowledge, and wisdom and like contort it and change it, because I don't like when people did that to me. So now it's just like Last Airbender style. Well, everything's coming around me and I'm just using it as it goes. And that can make you seem kind of stupid because I'm not holding on to anything, but it's happening. It's gonna work out. What was the point? Oh yeah, this is what I decided was the best thing to do, was to travel from the ground up and do it on my own and live independently and live outside of any coddling, like a house or a community. I wanted to go this way and I wanted to do it this way. The only thing I really regret is that I didn't kind of use the tools that I had as much as I could have. Like when I got donations, I could have went to I appreciate that, man. This spring and summer, I did get a lot of money in donations. And coincidentally, I was extremely traumatized and I felt like I was stuck under witchcraft. It's not an excuse, but it really felt like what I was going through back then was so overwhelming. I felt like the only the only options I had, I didn't want to walk 2 miles back into town and back to go to the closest dollar store that might. Sometimes they would accept food stamps and sometimes they were. It's what I like when I complain. It's what I asked for. When I would talk about how horrible small town prejudice has been to me and how I really felt like an indigenous cowboy or an ex-slave going through white society, and how childish people seemed and the abuse I went through. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful for it. I love that it happened to me. I love what I've become because of it. I love the perspective I've gained and the character that I could embody. And I'm glad I could see it because now I understand it. Even if I might not be able to fully hold on to all of it because everything's getting greater. So I'm going to have to evolve to a giant to be able to live in those worlds again the way that I used to hold it like little action figures when we were in Pisces. But I just chose, I wanted to live simply. I asked God if I could do great things simply. Because sometimes the world would get too overwhelming for me. The realization that, the realization that I've had in life, about life, makes living in the present moment really enjoyable, but really overwhelming when you take into account the absolution of, what am I saying? That's not, I'm assuming you guys don't know. If I have to tell you, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. It's probably a blessing and a gift. And some of the greatest times of my life have been scared and confused alone in my car, traveling, trying to save the world, and all my friends and family who left me out to die and were already forgiven for what they did to me. But then they kept going, and they didn't stop, and they got worse. How could I forgive that? I'm trying. The birds here, my favorite birds, show up to sing me sweet confirmations. And then the crows show up like ancient dragons to stand off sneakily over to the side and fuck with my subconscious. Because in the chess game, now me versus the devil, the conclusion was I don't have the balls to get out of this tent in front of everybody and shoot a crow. Because I know what they're doing and everyone else doesn't want to admit it, or they're not able to perceive it, or they don't care. I can see that the crows are going above children and parents, and they're digging their way into the parent, and then she becomes dark and negative. I can see that crows go over trailer parks or over towns, and they eat the good vibes and destroy the townspeople, and then they all get puppeted and controlled to start attacking and hurting and hitting each other to create this negative darkness. I can see that when I am able to push back and embody my full self the way that I want to, and then I start to really channel high vibrational energy, I get swarmed by them in mass, and then all the people that they dug into and puppeted show up, and it's just ritual after ritual trying to hurt me. I can recognize that, but I know that because that's the case, and that there's a system in place that sort of delegates the townspeople to try to ostracize and destroy people that think at that frequency with stigma and contorting belief systems that people will not and probably can't or refuse to harmonize. Like the fact that they pray to God when they stub their toe, but somebody that feels like they have a relationship with God and pursues a greater spiritual connection is schizophrenic. So now it's like everyone that God might be sending to bless them and wake them up. He's crazy, he's crazy, he's crazy. If I get up and shoot a crow, or I say that I don't want to speak to the cop until he changes the way that he's speaking to me, because I don't want to go down that road, and I don't want to allow that behavior to continue, it's like they fall under presets. They can no longer be free, active thinkers. They go, and then you can't get through to them. And when I tell you that, other than Cowboys and Kings right now, let's see. Most of the time, I get, when you're staring at the screen, you're probably not completely active and engaged, because that would be really intense, and I don't like it either. I can feel sometimes I can feel this perception of people waking up to empathy through me. I used to be so empathic, and with this divine connection, I would open up Aiden Ross's stream and it would crash. I'd open up John Zerka's stream and they would freak out and be like, that's such an intense energy, what the fuck? And then I'd have to leave because I feel like these dark addicts, these disgusting people are draining me because I'm giving them my attention. So I'm glad that I've weathered these storms because and I'm glad for the haters because it's given me a wall. You know what I'm saying? I don't use my subscriber base for ritualistic spell work. I look at myself and I talk to myself. But a lot of people do. A lot of girls dress up skimpy to take advantage of your attention and sexual energy. A lot of guys use you to manifest your blessings, and then they take it from you. And then they hold it there for the rest of the reading and just continuously sit there and feel the vibes and then take it and take it and take it. I don't do it. And that makes me self-sacrificial. Some people would say that makes me a bitch. Some people would say that everybody is saying that nobody on the other side of this camera deserves this. But I swear to God, every time that I'm down and out and I'm really in need and I'm really talking to God and trying to make my life better, some of my religious subscribers have people that show up and say, like the last one said that somebody showed up and gave her $15 to give to me. She's about 1,000 miles away. And she said somebody gave her $10 to give to me. I need that noise because it's drowning out the outside and allowing me to stay higher above so I can take in more. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a nerd. I'm not a nerd. I'm not the average. I'm not the schizo. A lot of schizos have this weird spiritual narcissism about them because it's how they learn to keep control of their mind. And it's often to their detriment. Scorpio men that don't have an extremely creative, like Scorpio men that aren't living with a creative hobby, turn into Joe from you like this. If you have a lot of Scorpio in your birth chart, it's very easy to become Joe from you. This like weird, obsessive, sneaky stalker obsessed with somebody else because they love them and they're not able to recognize the other person's perspective. and they often bypass their own morality to do so. Now, where the fuck is my super suit? Oh yeah, I left it behind in Morrisville. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get... I mean, I could just walk. Oh god. Okay. We're just waiting for people to stream, and if you got life problems, I'll solve them real quick. The light is on me. So I decided this was the best. I mean, name of a life that's... Kurt Cass is constantly chasing adventure. He lived poor. He got rich. Now he parties in Dubai. He lives in Dubai, and he travels around the country going into hoods and just like trying to have a fun time. Hello, my name is Kurt. Kurt, shukra, thank you. And then, oh, taxi. Okay, where? How much? Oh, 20, little less. And he goes, no. And he goes, no, little less. And he goes, the cab driver's like, no. He was like, then only one block, so I don't have to pay that much. And he goes like, okay. And Kirk Cass is a millionaire, multi-millionaire, but he probably has a lot of bills. He's probably in an industry. I heard you can't get to that position without doing something devilish. So I'm pretty sure they're all in on it. But me, I'm the only way they can exist is in contrast to me. Like Kai Cenat sold his soul. Kendrick sold his soul. Cassius Clay, maybe he didn't, but he became poetic and then chased beauty. And then I liked Cassius Clay way more than Mike Tyson. Cassius Clay is Muhammad Ali, right? Am I wrong? I'm talking about Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was so poetic, and then he chased living in that beauty. And then as his mind got destroyed, the beauty inside grew out. So everyone else got to live in the beauty of him because they could see the pain, what had happened to him. And they could recognize easier the beauty that Muhammad Ali is living in. I love the new Muhammad Ali interviews because it feels like he was a tree or a seed that had been planted that grew. I love Muhammad Ali, man. And stories like that. Because even though it's hard for him to speak, he's still making an extreme impact on the world. And the battle has changed. Mike Tyson didn't have to go... I mean, he did a little bit. I'm sure he did. But it felt like Muhammad Ali went through a lot more... Okay. I don't know. Divine is telling you it's time not to be lazy. It's time that you confront radical action to change your life. There's no time like the present. If not you, then who? If not now, when? The Most Divine is telling you right now to have faith and embody a higher light. It's telling you to shoot through your old ways, to embody the awareness that the world has taken from you. Also, it's telling you to be kind and embody and be the change. To embrace the world's cruelty and not let it, and to be able to swim through that water, or that when the tide comes in and the world gets horrible and everybody gets worse. Hey, look, this looks like the Pope's hat. That Dagon fish god, the age of Pisces, where you have to believe, and now Aquarius says no. But that's just me utilizing the energy of a Leo I know is connected to me to say what I wanted to tell you in a way that doesn't hurt me, because I learned from my mentors and who God puts in front of me. You understand? You know what I'm saying? You understand me? I'm seeing Omegle. And I don't know where my phone went. I have a second phone somewhere. I don't know what happened to it. I hope it did. I didn't leave it somewhere that it broke. Let me check chat. Do you sell smokes? I'm out of smokes. Cassius Clay. You're not a Leo. So Leos love cake. I'm surrounded by Leos everywhere. Because it's my favorite energy. Leo, Taurus, Sagittarius, Scorpio are my favorites. The rest can kick rocks. Although Virgo, I don't like Virgo, but I love Leo into Virgo. And I love having sex with Libra women. Other than that, man, everyone else can kick rocks. I don't give a fuck about Cancers. I don't give a fuck about Geminis. I don't give a fuck about Aquarius. I don't give a fuck about Capricorns. Capricorns have to have something else. And it can't be 11s, because that just makes it worse. Capricorns have to have a name like Brian Green Mountain, or else you're not fucking with me, bro. Capricorn season's pretty cool as a Sagittarius because you're jumping from little boxes to little boxes. I had to jump from Morrisville to this, to the McDonald's, then I went to the Capstone, then I went to the motel, and then I went back out, and then I went here. So I got to jump from place to place to place. I like that. But the problem is those places, Capricorn is the devil energy in tarot. If you notice the past month, it got worse. The devil was really highlighted. Where's my super suit? Oh, I haven't made it yet. I was supposed to make it last year. I needed help making merch. I had this huge, big idea, and I feel like it's too late to capitalize off of because my problem is I don't take enough initiative. I have great ideas I don't implement. Because I need to mobilize armies. What if the only way that... Imagine a soul that can only get what he wants if he has to conjure an army out of nothing and then drive them to victory to get what he wants. That's all my life has been. I sit alone and then I'm like, okay, I know what to do. And then I have to go back into the world and make them see the way. And then I have to get them involved, get them motivated, cure all their laziness, destroy them from the inside out in a phoenix rebirth of Sagittarian teachings. And then I have to lead them all and keep them afloat as we move forward. And I'm good at it, but I gave up because I was tired of the betrayal and the jealousy and the power games and people trying to steal what I had. So I had constant jealousy of people trying, no, I am this. No, I am you. No, and I'm like, I will just teach you for free. Stop trying to be me and let me show you how to know thyself so that you can be the best you. And I didn't know the vernacular for it because I was 8 years old, but I was still good at it. I had people running away from school with me into the forest where I could become my past life, which was probably a Native American chieftain. And that's why if you look up Casey's Caboose in Killington, Vermont, there's my favorite giant burger that I was like, I've been sitting here when I was homeless and I was like, I can't wait for a burger that's got the crispy onions and a little bit of red onion mixed into it, and a perfect blend of half and half crispy and red onion, and then the lettuce and the tomato, and then the burger is almost fried a little bit, so it kind of feels like a mix between the burger and the chicken patty. It's seared well, but it's also juicy, and it's got some type of sauce, a choice of different sauce on it. Probably barbecue right now is how I'm feeling. And then the cheese, and then maybe extra if you want bacon, but you don't have to get bacon, extra crispy bacon underneath. Probably the crispy onions are maybe even bacon bits. But like I used to want those giant stacked burgers you see in New York City with like the nacho cheese in it, and all the different meals that I wanted. It's not as close as what I wanted, but somewhat close. Like it seems like they got the similar inspiration, but didn't maybe have the access to the internet like I did, so they made it to the best of whatever came to their mind. And that's in Casey's Caboose. And then I walked into Casey's Caboose, and there's a Native American war chief in a full headdress, wooden carved statue, and he's exactly the same height as me. And he had hair that looks like mine. And the nose is the same way, except my jawline, I felt like my jawline got stolen. I'm not gonna lie. When I lost my bumper, because I drove my car into the snow and had to bring it out and lost my bumper on a back road, and then I felt like there was an Aquarius that was using his power in the wrong way, and he was like stealing all my life force. felt like my natural confidence that I built up from childhood that gave me the super jawline I used to have. I really felt like that got taken, and I've been having trouble keep bringing it back. But I'm hoping it's all divine timing, and I had to lose. Every loss was a setup for growth, for a better win. Mm-hmm. That's been coming up a lot. When I go back through my memories now, and I'm able to see energy from a better perspective, and I can feel what I was feeling at the time, I can see that when I was sitting there and I was quiet, and everybody was like, "What's up with this retard?" But some people like really respected me. Like I would just sit around like this. I'd be sitting on the ground, just like picking grass, and I'd be sitting up alert, always paying attention to everything around me, but I just wasn't speaking. And it wasn't like autistic people that are like out of their mind. It was like I had this condensed focus from trauma as a child that I was always ready for something. So I didn't really like. Eventually I grew to love conversation as an art form, and I would take it in all these different directions, and I would test people's boundaries and philosophize and take people on journeys through conversations. But a lot of my life I was just quiet, and now I can go back and recognize that alertness. Now that I've grown into what I've grown into this year, I can recognize that was the energy of probably a past life as a war chief, or maybe that's in my ancestry somewhere, because your epigenetics, everything that your ancestors have ever been through and everything that they've done is stored in your genetics. It altered your family's genetics, and as your family grew to the next iteration, the next iteration, the next iteration, it's not that you're separate and you lost that and you lost touch with your ancestors because you'll never meet your great 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 grandfather. The fact of the matter is, your great 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 grandfather is in everything that he went through, everything that he thought, everything that he did, and all the energy that passed through him that he consciously co-created was passed on through his family, and so on and so on and so on until you have you. So not only am I Casey Francis O'Brien, I'm every single ancestor that's ever been before me, and all of their experiences and all of their knowledge and wisdom and data in their epigenetics as we're continuously evolving. So if I had, let's say, a great Irish war chief that stormed through the small thickets as a giant against these tiny little Vikings that were in mass numbers and outnumbered them, and he started out as a child with no help, no trainers, nobody to teach him fighting like the Vikings had, and he was stuck in a world that everyone ostracized him. Ireland did not accept Brian Boru, so he had to learn, or even like little pagan villagers. They didn't have warriors, they were monks on an island, and they were more African than the rest of Europe, because a Moorish settlement, that's where Moore, that Irish name, comes from, is that the original inhabitants of Ireland were black with blue eyes, and then they mixed with Gallic France. And then England and so forth. Like England has destroyed England. Part of their whole thing is that they destroyed history, but for the people that they were governing or colonizing. Point. Oh yeah, but so all that stuff in the 33 life path is like the coup de grace. So every year is new and different because there's so much living in me and in my narrative around me. So I've already got to live as a tribal chief traveling with a bunch of Irishmen. I've already got to live as a Celtic king living in a castle. I've already got to live as a Black Panther running through the forest hunting. I've already got to live as a starving polar bear freezing in Arctic desert. I've already got to live as a dragon flying towards destiny. Or an ancient giant that lived in the mountains and had to survive Vikings and Siberian tigers, saber-toothed cats. I got to live as a bear in the forest, or a raccoon, or a squirrel, and a raccoon and a squirrel. I've got to live as like a priest, or a pope, or a bishop, or like a ritualistic shaman working with energy, and a rock star, and a performer. And I got to do all those overwhelmingly beautiful things in a simplified life. Like the golden spiral. As above, so below, as within, so without. The small affects the large. So I get to see the large and experience it in the small. 11:33. Casey, O'Brien, Sagittarius, Aquarius. That's why I prefer this life. Because I have kids that are like 20 years old. They got a mobile home and they deal drugs to pay for it. And they also work a full time. And they have a wife and they have 2 kids already. And they like come into the comments and brag to me about their life and like how shit I am because I'm 25 and I haven't done anything. But you can't. There's no amount of work you can do in one lifetime to embody these experiences. This is a gift. This is lifetimes worth of effort and work into this life. To have a predestined life where even if I want to be lazy and lay around, I still commit legendary acts that affect the entire world. And then through you, tarot readers, and through the people that watch, content creators, leaders of men and women that affect the entire world, they're shown an aspect of themselves, this freedom that I embody. It allows them to create better and influence the world better. I have this natural, innate compassion. My life is formed in a way where I'm in this reflective mirror that I can give this energy and I can show you yourself through me whenever you find this. I love when tarot readers give me a reading that's extremely specific. And they're girls, and they usually dress modestly, but then when I get my reading, they're like so into it, and they like dress up. Like they look good. They look really good, and they're giving me a reading, and the reading is like they're feeling the energy, and they're really into it because they like the person they're reading for, and they're talking about me. That feels really good, especially because I mostly just travel alone. Sometimes I feel like I'm literally switching realities every second. Like I got so good at navigating through the infinite. I feel like I've jumped timelines so many times where I literally just like get in my car and then I drive into a new world. And then everybody starts acting different around me. The world moves differently. The energy's different. It's like I used to take all my knowledge and then power through on a journey closer to the reality I desired. And I'm sure you all have a specific, certain way of doing things that's very unique. I'm just so proud of mine. And part of mine means that I'm able to enjoy everybody else's probably better than they can. Because I can see their potential. And they can't. And my gift, I used to say that the reason that people came to me as a producer in the past, even though they were all stupid, jealous narcissists that couldn't see my value and they couldn't recognize my greatness because I was too ahead of the game, now they go back and they've listened to beats I've sent them and they message me and say, bro, I literally went back and listened to your beat and fucking cried. They won't say, I'm sorry for how I treated you, but they're like, man, how the fuck did you make this? I can't recreate this. I can only recreate this because I saw what you made. And then I don't reply because they treated me wrong in the past. But what I would say is you were never meant to recreate anything. That's your problem. You still think you can steal what I have. You still think you can copy what I have. You still think you can look through me and try to figure things out for yourself. And that'll help you learn so that you can do more in the future. It's retarded. Isn't that funny? That's a Kanye meme. That's retarded. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, doesn't it? Oh, I keep getting to points and then I like shoot off for a long time and then I have to work my way back. At all school sing right after when I meant to say, I ended up singing, "What happened to the dinosaurs? Where did they go?" And then I was like talking about crows. The song that they used to sing is "Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. Let us sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again." And I woke up. I woke up from an awful dream that was terrifying, but it ended with. I don't even want to. I don't want to bring that out of my mind. I want to keep that a secret for a long time until I can write it perfectly. And every time I've gone to write it down today, car alarms, police sirens, crows screaming, children crying. Every time I try to take this thing that I just experienced in a dream and bring it through with the 11 energy into this world, the world it does not like it. Mother Earth gets very upset, or whatever the outside world is. But it was something I always want to share my experiences. So when I tell you I'm scared to share it, believe it. Yeah, I got a spare tent from Capstone before, and I was using it as a pillow because I didn't want to have to clean this up and haul it because it's big. It's 8x4, and I set it up on a porch, and I have it hanging off the side of the porch, so it's literally diagonal. Like, look, this is me, one butt cheek hanging off the side, just sitting. So that when people driving by would be like, nobody can fucking sleep in that. He's probably gone somewhere because it's too cold. Meanwhile, I'm here with my heater, trying to thaw this. Look at this shit. The air, it got so cold, I like moved it a little bit after I thawed it, and then the air froze immediately. Okay. But yeah, it just feels like I woke up from a horrible dream, and then Happy Days Are Here Again started playing, and then the tarot reader that I watched, the first video, she started singing that song, and I didn't know that. I thought that a Brattleboro Academy School original. I didn't know that was a popular song at one point. Oh, God. And I'm ready to put effort in. I just don't know where to go, fam. So I'm like, the only option is to go to the gas station. And work at the fucking gas station. Okay, there is nobody here. So let's put on my stuff and go for a walk outside. How is everybody doing? I had every day I have an I'm a God talk. We just got through the I'm a God talk, and now we're ready to go do the stuff that I actually feel like I'm supposed to do on camera, which is adventure. I got through the I'm a traumatized God and you all don't deserve me talk. The problem is that if I start, every time I share my creations, they don't, it just feels like everything that, it's like I'm feeding monsters here. Everything that I work very hard to share, it's like, and I'm guilty of the same thing. I'll listen to albums over and over and over and over and over and over until I feel like I've completely consumed everything that album has to give. So I get how it feels when I drop a song and nobody responds and then all of a sudden all these artists drop songs that sound like mine, or I'll drop like a 1-minute snippet of a little hint at my perspective in songwriting, and then all the local rappers from my hometown are now dropping songs that sound just like mine. Like every idea I have that I share with others, they just take it and drive it into oblivion. So I like strategically I strategically psyoped my hometown by contorting my image and character so that they would be able to recognize my greatness, but in a way that highlighted the fact that they never knew me, and they probably don't deserve to know me now. You know what I'm saying? So my boot liner has disappeared. I've got to take a massive piss, and the sweat is like I've been sweating out toxins, like the sickness that I've had. I've been sweating out, and it's fucking gross. And I'm afraid people are gonna see me. I'm afraid people might be here at 2:25. Oh, I'm a genius. Yeah, do you notice how a truck shows up right when I want to exit? So now I can't because of the fact that people are so nosy. So I'm gonna have to take a wicked piss in my bottle of orange juice, and I'm gonna have to throw it out the tent door. Look at that serendipity. As soon as I want to leave, they're here, and they're pulling in right next to me. It's like it manifested. It was like it was a chess play. They knew I had to piss because I've been drinking, and then they waited until the truck was going to show up to activate the nanoparticles or send a frequency out, like the brown note from South Park, to make me gotta piss. Hold up. I saw you in the chat, Derek. I was just talking about artists. I was just talking about my music, and then Derek shows up. How you feeling, Derek? How? I never asked, but how is South Africa, bro? You know who's from South Africa is Kurt Kaz. I just assume you guys are NPCs I manifested to give me this experience. Battle for your brain, shelter and rest. Thank you, man. Great chief before. I don't know. If I take the life I've lived the past few years, at least, it was an Irish warlord in a full suit of armor, traveling against the English. So I assumed I was Irish. And then it was a forest lone chieftain, and then it was a cowboy, diplomat, teacher, inspiration. I've led people to battle. It's just the universe changing over and over again. We're still fighting a war like we used to, but the war is just spiritual now. Whereas before, the war was more, the energies were different. Like when we were when our souls were knee deep in the age of Pisces, we were fighting battles based on beliefs, right? Pisces, the dreamer, the believer. We went to war for religion. Now in the age of Aquarius, we're going to battle against misinformation and seeing who could be the most innovative, because Aquarius is the innovative rebel. Derek says he was watching an old video of me freestyling on top of a building. Derek, did you see in that video, there was a seagull flying, and I felt like
my grandfather, who used to train birds, gave me some type of gift in my epigenetics, and I called that seagull and pointed. I used to be able to call the birds, and they could see what I was doing. The way that people in New York City now can like call pigeons and make them all flock, and he taught them all orders, and they would all raise lower, spin in circles, whole flocks of pigeons. I did the same thing in that video where I sent a seagull by connecting to its mind, and I sent him behind the church for the video. And I don't care if anyone thinks it's schizo or crazy, because it doesn't. It's not. I'm not an all or nothing dude. I could I could live in both worlds. But that when you see me point like and then the seagull flies, the seagull was flying around in circles above me, and then I pointed, and then it flew where I pointed around, and then it came back, and then it sat on the and maybe if Ethan is here, he can vouch. My cameraman at the time. And that guy, I guess, in multiple places, he ran away from home and wound up in a parking lot, and he was scared out of his mind, like full psychotic break, not knowing what reality is and isn't. And then so that I would show up in my Dodge Magnum, aftermarket everything, custom rims, blasting my music and freestyling in parking lots, and we would just wind up in the same parking lots around New York before both of us randomly wound up on King Street in the youth shelter at the same time, because my car was stolen, and I got so sick on the street I had to go into a homeless shelter because of a kid named Silas, who is this small homeless kid. He was like 23, but he'd been homeless since he was 11, and he was from Brooklyn. So he was like out of it and on a lot of drugs. And he would wander around and get the sympathy from old ladies to get money for drugs. And he was like one of the biggest dealers around. And I think what's that video game? Right before I met him, I watched Jacksepticeye play this video game from the same people that made Until Dawn. And it was one of those choose your adventure video games about werewolves, where at nighttime during a full moon, people that got this virus, all their skin fell off and they became like this dark, mutated sludge werewolf people. And you had to survive as different characters making different choices through this choose your own adventure horror game. But the person that made, and it was all based around tarot, and the person that made all the werewolves, the original werewolf that had lycanthropy, was this traveling homeless kid named Silas, and his tarot card was the Hierophant. Why didn't I record more music when I had the chance? Those were just, I wanted scenes from music videos because I knew I was going to age. So, you're only as young as you are once. Every minute that passes, I'm going to be older than I was. I look a lot different than I did then. So while I had the chance to record scenes for music videos, I knew eventually as we go along the way, I'll be able to make the songs, or maybe I won't be able to make the songs, but I was a perfectionist with my beats, and I didn't have access to, or I didn't take the chance to really get into a studio with a professional, because I already have the beat in my mind, and I didn't have the tools necessary to create what was in my head. So I didn't put the vocals over the beat. I wanted to wait. So I have tons of songs. That album has 1, 2, 3, 4. It has tons of different ones. And then I moved on to the next album. So I was already halfway through the next album when I posted that snippet of the song. But that's my art, man. That's my art. Why would you add my video clips in your music video? Um, it's kind of weird. I've never heard of that before. But I'm not gonna sue you. You know what I'm saying? How long have you been watching me? Oh, word. Sure. Yeah, bro. Don't like flat out steal my stuff, but like, I mean, I'd rather work with you on a song if you want to like sample me singing for a beat or something. But that's hip hop. I can't help it. I released it to the public. I think it's pretty cool. I've dropped music as some fire samples. Yeah, I don't care. Go for it. I have a couple people that make edits. I don't know what happened. What's his name? He's in my Discord. I think his name might be Where. Where? There. No, his name's Where. That's the only present I got on my birthday. Somebody made an edit of me crying in all my videos. And he labeled it Casey Core. And I was like, man, you really framed it in a way that highlights just one part of me. That's not Casey Core. But it was pretty well thought out and made with care. And it low-key made me feel a lot. I was very feel because my parents didn't even get me anything. You know what I'm saying? My family watches my YouTube. I'm the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, go for it, bro. It's just weird. It's a oh shit. That might work. If I went outside and opened that. Here's a teachable moment. Something I learned about just sitting here with this heater is that the only way to make this heater not break is that there has to be a place for the fire to go, and that you have to live in the cycling of the heat. You can't take the heat and store it, or else it'll get too cold and you'll spend more time freezing than you will warm. But if you leave enough room for the cold, for the warm air to escape so that it stays in this flux, you can be warm for longer. My Discord invite link is invalid. I'm gonna repost it after this video. I don't know why it's still up. It's still public. My Facebook page gets like 30 views a day now. My Discord, nobody joined it. So I guess it was invalid. Or maybe the link's only good for a couple days. And then it changes. Someone's here. I thought they weren't here. I was talking loud. I want to leave him a 20, but I don't have a 20 to leave him. Damn. I will fix that. I had a bunch of people that didn't answer me in my Discord, and then I had one guy that was kind of snooty. He was dropping snooty things. And his character was snooty. He was the emoji on his profile picture was snooty. This uppity, prideful. So I didn't like that. Sometimes people be like the dark side of YouTube is having people that are obsessed with you. But I've just had that. People just get obsessed with me, man. Is Chief Keef from... when you were in there? The last time he was... I think the only time he was here was when you guys spoke. It's like you could read my thoughts, man. I was in my head thinking about making a song, and I was thinking about manifesting a beat for you, like creating a song, and what I would make your style. And I was thinking about Chief Keef, and if Chief Keef was from Chicago, or Fetty Wap Chief Keef type beat, and then you start talking about Sosa. These bitches love Sosa. I told him the same thing, that if you're not taking it serious to really make a change in your community, but you still gangbang, and you don't have like an end result for your people, you're not in a gang, you're in a boys club, like a group of, I mean, not to make it cool, but like a group of, not even a group. I would say that the cops nowadays are more like pirates than anything. They're just out there on a ship, taking advantage of your citizenship to rob you of money and resources, and then take you as a slave. Like, a lot of time, in some cases, the gang members act more like the old knights than the cops do. Like Crip Mac. Do you know Crip Mac was a Disney star? Crip Mac was a child actor. He didn't go to jail, fam. Crip Mac is not in jail. His contract was up. Like, just like you think Tupac died, you think Nipsey Hussle died, they just left. Okay, try making beats with BandLab, FL Mobile. I've thought about it. I wouldn't be happy enough. I'd rather keep. I mean, I might do it. Just I used to do it. I'm an audio engineer. That's what my degree is in. You can't run You can't run. Fuck. I don't even remember the name of the plugins anymore. Serato sample. I've always wanted to use a Serato sample. By the way, I called that the world was going to go from emphasis on innovation and production back to the simplicity of just a one man and an instrument, one man and a guitar around a campfire. And then Glorb, the guy that makes the SpongeBob music, who's like one of the hottest artists out right now if you count views and popularity as success. Glorb is one of the biggest artists of 2023, and then he dropped a country he dropped a country section of the SpongeBob to stay relevant. So I haven't either because I'm not supposed to share it with people, and because I just tend to get on live and dump all the things that are probably given to me as a blessing. If that's, or if I'm not crazy. I haven't really tapped into the energy of 2025 yet. It feels different. It doesn't feel much like 2024 was definitely a year of music. It's just I don't think people really gave the time and effort it took to master the energy because they decided to live differently. You know what I'm saying? 2024 was definitely a creative, expansive year. 2025 feels more like a UFC championship. At least for me. I feel that way. I'll download BandLab. You got I'm matching socks with me right now. No, I've got matching socks on, but then I have another layer of mismatched over it. Because this one, the other sock was so sweaty, man. It was like dry. It was like solid. It's fucking gross. I'll try to show you. I'll show you. You know how socks get when you wear them for like 2 months? But that's what the Cowboys did, and everyone loves the Cowboys, so everyone wants to be a cowboy. But then when they meet a cowboy, they call the cops. Let's make an origami rose. I don't know. Folknem. I never heard that in my life. Never heard anyone say Folknem. What up, Folknem? Folknem? Is that something you say, or is that just something you text? You say Folknem? Or are you calling me a folk music Eminem? Are you calling me a folk music Eminem? Can you see what I'm doing? I used to be, when I worked at Dunkin' Donuts, I would talk to the pretty girls about, where you from? Where you going? Oh, you having fun? You like it here? For real? You like that? Oh, man. This wouldn't work out. I think we'd be better as friends. And they're like, what? They're giggling. And then by the time I finished the other person, by the time my coworker finished their coffee, while I sat there, I'd be able to put this on their coffee mug, their coffee cup. Folk music Eminem. What's up, Folknem? I'm Folknem. I pretty much am Folknem. Mom's last name is Marshall. But yeah, I would put these I would then I would take tape and I would put it right at the coffee and I'd hand it to the pretty girls. And there was a lot of beautiful, rich Connecticut women in these ski resort towns. I used to be a fuck boy. I am trespassed from Vermont State University for being indigenous. I was singing and Phil Scott said, "Get this engine to stop squawking on our property." And then the police took my car. So when a tornado was coming, I decided to hide in a shed. And that shed happened to be on the same property that they had trespassed me for singing. So months later, they showed up to attack me because my lawyer did not tell me I had court. Nobody had informed me of my court date. I'm in a different tent. It's the same type of tent, but this one doesn't have the broken pieces from when they ripped me out. Speaking of, this tent is intact. And I'm hanging off the edge of a cliffside, but a different cliffside. And this one I put like this. So this is the phone straight up. I figured, because it's usually down further, I thought that because I think I've been here for 2 days now. A day and a half. 1 day. A night and a day. So more than 24 hours. Like 36 hours. And I sat here praying, I need some type of food. I want to eat warm food and sit here and enjoy the comfort. And then one of my subscribers sent me $15 on Cash App and said, somebody gave this to me to give to you. And I don't know why that happened. Yeah, Vermont State. Because they think trespassing is a weapon to exert their will over the environment. So that was their way of trying to burrow themselves into my narrative and my life. They couldn't stand the fact that I was happily walking through such a beautiful place, assessing if it would be the right fit for me, trying to enjoy it while it was there, while the world lasted, and respecting the environment and taking care of the birds and making everyone feel safe, feeding the animals, being a positive influence on the community. And they couldn't take that. It made them very mad inside. So the only thing that they could do, the only attack they had is like lie to the police, trespass them, or try to get somebody else to do their dirty work so they don't get in trouble. So I had people shooting at me, I was trespassed, and they lied to the cops. What the fuck? This Folknam, what the hell? Folknam, turn off my goddamn jiggly fucking heater. Goddamn Chattanooga, Tennessee. Am I warm enough? I guess I have to be because my heater keeps turning off. Yeah, I'm warm enough. At nighttime it was rough. It was before the wind chill, it was negative 17 last night. When you go to the weather app, it'll give you the weather, it'll give you the technical temperature, and then it gives you the feels like. And the feels like is more accurate up here. Like when I leave, there are people that, like when I was outside that other building that I was making all those songs at in October, before they started bothering me, because I was there for months at night. Where I was there for my birthday and Thanksgiving and Halloween. And Christmas. What was my point? 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 Fuck. Come on. What was I saying? No, I can't rewind. I'm losing it. I was there for Christmas and the holidays. What the fuck was I just saying? Running heat? Trespassing? Why was I there? What the fuck was I saying, guys? I lost it. It just flew out of my mind. God, and it was good. I was picturing myself there, and now I can't remember what I was saying. Am I warm enough? I was sitting there making the songs. I don't know, fam. I lost it. What was the original prompt? It was like it literally got scooped out of my mind by an alien. Like that scene in Skylines where there was that giant monster that had the tentacles on its hands and it yanked Gus from Scrubs' hand, and its hand had a mouth on it. It's like they just did that to my thoughts. I don't remember. Maybe it had something to do with McDonald's. Because I was eating McDonald's there. I don't know. Phone him. What up, phone him? What up, phone him? The phone him tax. What up, phone him? I see what you mean. Folknam. I really thought you guys walked around saying, what up, Folknam? Folknam? No one to fold them? No one to hold them? Okay. Palm Bears, I don't remember what I was going to tell you. Maybe it's something to do with the heater. Oh, the temperature. Okay. There was a thermometer that they put out, and the thermometer would read the feels like temperature, and so the weather app, at least here. No, I remember. I got it. What about youth theater, group theater? I'm seeing a bunch of video ideas that I had in the past I want to make. But the friends that I wanted to make them with are a bunch of sneaky energy vampire narcissists. But the point was, the thermometer at the place, the actual real thermometer that judged the temperature around me, judges what the weather app says it feels like. So it's misleading if you were to Google Johnson and it says it's 10 degrees out right now, because it feels like -5 right now. So if I put a thermometer outside here, it would say -5. It would not say 10 degrees. That's the point I was trying to make. That took me 20 minutes and I went on 3 roller coasters. But I'm sitting at a whopping $70, and I think that I might go to a restaurant and try to spend 12 of the 15 I just got, because that's what I was asking God for. And then somebody said that somebody walked up and gave the money for me down in West Virginia. Somebody in West Virginia gave her $15 for me. As I was laying in bed trying to find a way to figure out the best food to eat that would make me the happiest, and I was stressed out about money, and I had a crazy dream that taught me something I'm terrified to share. But I want to say that when I talk about devil and magic and voodoo and dark stuff, dark practitioners, wizards, and when I talk about karmic retribution and that there's rules and consequences for people's behavior, it's real. And the dream world and this world seem to be more connected than I realized. Like I always, because of all the schizophrenia allegations, I always keep like a balanced mind. Even if I have so much evidence to this being a holographic simulation, I still maintain the balance in between the reality that the Matrix is set up, where that's crazy talk and you're a schizophrenic for thinking that way. Even though that's the way everybody has thought for millions of years, up until the past 30 years, right after they started giving lobotomies to figure out how the human brain works. Then suddenly they developed a new modern psychology based on inhibiting the natural spiritual senses we have. And that makes you crazy. Society's set up so that people may be less through Freudian psychology. If you think that way, you might be placed lower in the subconscious of the brainwashed collective female mind. So as a man, you don't share your feelings or your spirituality because you're sort of like gaslit. People have been conditioned to make that seem weird, when in the past that would make you a contender for being a highly sought after position in the tribe or the community. But yeah, I will update the Discord link. I'm asking God, or I'm asking the world, I'm asking the whatever, the everything, in a good way. Get me the right computer I can use to get the software to start creating. I'm sick of consuming content all day, every day for years. I want to do more. And then a lot of this talk was just me talking about how what I did this year, even though most people would consider my life a waste because I don't have a car, a kid, or a wife. I lived a unique life, and I've learned things that other people don't. And even if they did like ponder it, they never experienced it. If experience is a commodity, I have way more wealth than the people that shit on me because I lived in a car for a couple years and then I lived down on the ground in a tent, smelly. You know what I'm saying? This has been dope. And I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't think they're even real. I think they're all parts of a greater whole. No Diddy. But it's true, you go to a Diddy party, you come back the opposite gender. I don't know why. Seems like a pagan sex trans ritual. It's starting to get very cold. So even when the heat goes out, because the little thermometer in there overheats, see how cold it gets? So cold immediately that I can put it right back. Cold temperature makes the world weird. It makes everything really dull. Like the whole world has a dull ache. And I heard giant trees in this hillside behind me. It got so cold the trees cracked and fell over. When I walk through the woods up here, I just assumed that all these trees that broke in half were because of lightning. Really, it's because it gets so cold, the moisture inside the tree freezes. It's so solid that the wind just breaks it brittle and it falls apart. I don't know, is my family stalking me? How many of my family do you think that won't speak to me and all they do is talk shit and target me, go around my back to make up narratives about my mental health to be okay with their miserable lives, obsessing about me? How many of my family do you think are in this chat right now stalking me? I don't want them here. I didn't invite them here. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you guys go out and shovel? Why don't you go make a snowman? There they go. Go make a fucking snowman. Why don't you go for a walk? Except my dad can stay. Because I love my dad for who he is inside. I know he's not the person that I've met. I can see through it. I can see through the trauma. You're not a piece of shit, Dad. You just have done horrible things to me. You've been a piece of shit to me. You've been an unaccountable narcissist to me. You've been a hypocrite. You're the reason I was brutalized by police. It was you and Mom. Because you sicked the cops into my house. I didn't answer you for 10 years. I barely spoke to you. But then one day, miraculously, when I have court, you stormed my apartment building, had the police illegally come into my house for a wellness check. You made it seem like I might have been suicidal when I wasn't. And then the cop had a sickness I was trying to avoid by meditating and biologically healing. And that caused me to be so sick, I missed court. And that's why I had a warrant for my arrest. So when my mom lied about the disorderly, when I was not being disorderly, the police did what they did to me, and that destroyed my reputation in the town and forced me on this journey. So it is actually your fault. Isn't that crazy? Oh shit. See, why do they manufacture these bottles so perfectly that one of them fits perfectly in the other? Why does a Smart Water have the exact same dimensions to just fit inside of a V8 splash bottle? So that it sits beautifully. I don't know. Okay. I'm feeling this dull, draining energy. This old, lifeless, emotionless, non-melanated world of the English colonies. There's no life. I'm gonna wait till it's dark. Probably like 5. And then I'm going to venture out. And I'm going to get some Chinese food. And I don't know. I don't want to go to Jeffersonville yet. I think Johnson sounds a lot cooler and feels a lot nicer. Jefferson and Cambridge. But, you know, that gets me closer to the mountain. I have to walk through these valleys. And then eventually I can get down into the mountain. I was hoping, I mean, I still can. I don't think anybody's going to stop. I don't even know. I've been so tunnel vision on getting out of this cold. I haven't even looked at what's out here. I don't even look out. I don't outside, fam. So it looks like if I had a hatchet, that would be a good place to go. Because nobody's going to go out there. And look, there's plywood over there. There's pallets and plywood. And there's this ladder right here. The step ladder. So if I wanted to buy a drill set, you know how my life, I get everything that I need, not necessarily what I want. I have a unique opportunity to go build a platform up in that hillside and put my tent on it. And then as long as I don't overstay my welcome with this outlet, and I spend if I get a power station. But you know what? I should have done that in October, man. But it's all divine timing, I think. Oh shit. There's still people in there. But hopefully they're the water and light department. Hopefully they're out doing something and that they weren't just looking out the window at me. Drip check. Is this thing thawing? Palm Bears, how old are you? How old are you and where are you from? It is melting. My fortune cookie said, "You will receive a large sum of money soon." Then I had 2 fortune cookies that said, your knowledge and experience will be the reason you make a great impact on the world. And then it said, a time to embrace change is coming. There's 42 and from England. I've got a couple people from England here. I've got somebody that lives who's also a 33 life path, that lives in an abandoned military base in England. Is England smaller or bigger than Vermont? I don't know. I feel like I would get very bored easily if I sort of took everybody in and we all moved as a caravan. It'd be cool, but I'd get sick of it, and I feel like the people that would be involved, like you want a biker gang. If I wanted to travel with a bunch of people, I'd want soldiers. I want people that can be down and understand the way the world is, that live a fun life. And I know I'm supposed to be the master teacher, so I guess I could make them. If I wanted an army of nincompoops, I'm not calling you a nincompoop, but I said in general, that's where I usually get like brigands of nincompoops, a gaggle of giggly Gaelic goons that I have to teach social skills to and teach how to exist in the world because their father failed them. Like I'm like a planet, and the moons that orbit me are beautiful women, and then the rings that orbit me are a bunch of guys with daddy issues. That's my life. People with daddy issues. It's about 10 times bigger than Vermont. I googled it. That's crazy. Because it looks the same size on a map. 10 times bigger than Vermont is crazy. Because that's bigger than New York. That's bigger than New England. England is bigger than New England. And that doesn't make sense to me because on a map it looks much smaller. Oh, it's a whole... Fuck, all this shit that melted. Is that Dr. Pepper? That's a Dr. Pepper. But yeah, we only have so long before technology takes over. If you guys want to, I would enjoy the world, the way the world is, and try to get the most out of it because it's about to change. And there may be sections like third world developing countries that you can go to the old world experience. But for the most part, like I think those drones over the sky are to implement a sky police. I must have said some shit for it to go this crazy. when you guys look outside and there's like rarely any cars, do you notice that a lot of the time that if you don't see cars on a back road for a long time and then you see one after like a long pause, it's usually like two of them intersect each other right in front of you? Does that happen to you guys a lot? Because that happens to me every day. I will see cars for 2 hours, and then the first time I see cars, it's just they have to pass each other right in front of me, and they're usually like two of the same type of truck. Like they're living the same life, where they both get called to leave their home to go somewhere, and they pass each other. I don't know, but I have to go back to Morrisville at some point. If you guys are wondering, I've been auditing community action programs. I'm not a retard. I've been seeing how they work, and I've been letting them do the work, sitting back and trying to understand and enjoy the experience. I don't need a case manager to get housing. I don't need to fall in line and submit like a dog and connect to somebody who wants to overbear me to get a better life. I do people's jobs better than they do. Look, I'm emptying one water into the other one. I'm draining one frozen bit of water. I'm changing the state of water with heat. Cool thing about, so, you know, our emotions are water. Our intentions are water. We live in water. So this water has been fractally changing. It's an intelligence. You can set intentions in water and watch it freeze, and it basically designs you a AI image. Have you guys seen that yet? That they're thinking, or they're like writing on a piece of paper, igloo, and then they're putting it in the water, and then the water structures in a way that's hexagonal, like the igloo, or they'll put like ego, and it's a picture of like a human figure with like this really distorted head and shoulders. This is the original ChatGPT in us. We are water. That's why people chant over water. That's how Jesus could turn it into wine. But he also turned water into wine through yeast on a grape's vine by coming down from the sun and then creating life in his image that took in the bacteria that took in the sunlight and then grew with the yeast to ferment the water into alcohol. Jesus that crosses over from energy in the sun into matter, the life, the bacteria. You know what I'm saying? In the covenant that arcs, the Ark of the Covenant, the rainbow, all 7 seals. Why is the Statue of Liberty a giant statue of Lucifer? And why did they call New York the Big Apple? And then Trump is the guy that brings great change to the world. And he planted himself down on 5th Ave. The number of change, 5. And I don't know, the more that I realize that all these celebrities are part of a pagan cult that worships the transgender, the more I'm like, man, these women look a lot like men. Like Jay-Z looks like a woman with surgery. Beyonce looks a lot like a man with surgery. Watch this. Eventually the water is going to fill up so much that it's going to be too heavy, and it's going to drain into that. It's already one little stream, but eventually it's going to pop. Unless it's melting and thawing it and draining at the same speed. There we go. It got too heavy and it broke through because the water got so warm it thawed its own way out. No, I don't know. It's gonna. I think it's gonna thaw in a new direction now. So it is gonna fill up again, but it's only gonna fill up because the heat's spreading out so much. It's creating little pockets that haven't been completely thawed at the bottom. So if it does that again, it's because a new area that's sealed off from the hole, or else it would just leak down through into the where it's dripping. Like inside. Unless it's thawed out completely at the bottom now, so that the whole circle is thawed. So that anywhere that melts on this doesn't get blocked because it was sealed because the ice had frozen. Yeah, there's too much breakage. Then I'm going to put flavoring in it. I used to go into stores and I would wear 3 different jackets, and I would load up the inside jacket with the expensive candies, and then I would load up the middle pocket with my one drink, like a Monster or something, and then I would load up the end jacket in the pocket with all these different flavorings you could put in the drink, and then I would buy a gallon of water and walk out. And I did that in Canada where I could get deported. And then I did that in Walmart. And I was in Canada illegally. I drove through the border and outdrove the police across a bridge, and then I outdrove them for like 20 miles. And then I hid in a bunch of 14-year-old kids' parents' parking lot while they drove by. And then I hung out with them for a couple hours, got their Snapchat, and then left. I told them I was a famous rapper. And then I lived in Montreal. Ran out of gas. In Montreal, you can't DoorDash if you're from America. You can't switch. I thought the DoorDash would be able to convert. You can't get a DoorDash account in Montreal. I couldn't get a SIM card without a passport. Then eventually they deported me, and then they put the pieces together. And then the border patrol at the place I crossed called me and said, "Hey, was that you?" And I said, they didn't press charges. You know, it wasn't for drugs or anything. It was mental health. Where I came from, it treated me so bad I had to leave. And I was about to go down to Texas, and I wanted to stop at a Planet Fitness. And by the time I got there, I didn't have enough gas to get back. So I had to cross. or I was going to break down and I was worried you were going to tow me and I'm afraid of police. No, I don't. What did I just do? I don't know. I don't even have an enhanced license. An enhanced license lets you go into Canada and maybe Mexico. And maybe Greenland soon. Incorporate Canada and Greenland, and I think that's going to be really cool because I'll be able to go see the Alberta mountains. It feels like God made America and then he made Canada as a shitty DLC. But that's just because Canada is a third world country almost. They don't really bring any money in. They don't do anything. They don't have a good military. They don't do anything at all. Their developing cities thrive off of American money. So they have all these beautiful things up there. So much potential. But I'm telling you, as soon as if you guys ever want to buy land, the time to do it is before they become more economically stable. Like, go to a place like Portugal or like northern Canada and buy some land so that your grandchildren can give these people a hard time when they try to buy it from them. And that's how you get generational wealth. You just buy dirt and you sit with it. I don't know, though. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm pretty sure we're all going into a hive mind. I definitely feel like every day I'm getting closer to leaving this world, and there's a better world on the other side. I think that everything you see with politics is a personal choice you have to make, and that is literally your personal choices are guiding you to heaven or hell. It's all about the individual journey you're on. So these things are just reflections that try to force you to change, and you can go down either or path until you're forced to be stuck with the choices you made. So they're just there to implement change in your mind, to embody archetypes, to drive you into making decisions, to influence you. They're influencers. Trump is an influencer president. And then if you look up a book called Baron Trump's Great Adventure, the last book of the Baron Trump collection is called and it was in the 1890s. It was written, and it's about the last president. And they storm at the end of it because they storm Fifth Avenue in New York. Trump Tower is. So I think that Trump his name probably wasn't Trump. It's probably an ancient Masonic order that gave them that name to fulfill that specific purpose or something. I don't know. I wish I had a room full of Legos. I miss my room full of Legos. It's calling out to me. I want to go back into my room full of Legos. There's a weird ringing. Man, I don't want to walk 2 miles to get my Chinese food tonight. I thought about going in. Do you think if I told him, hey, I'm outside, it's going to be freezing, I'm depressed, your food makes me feel very happy, do you think instead of getting 2 orders of Chinese food, I could pay you a couple extra dollars and you could fill up, instead of broccoli, fill up the top full of this delicious General Tso's chicken? Do you think they might take that? Everybody, let's all collectively focus on the intention of Casey gets a lot of money, 100 grand out of nowhere. He's blessed. I'm so excited. If that's how it ends up, I'm going to be really satisfied in life. But it's all, my entire life is based around what I can do for others. And what I can do for the world. That's literally all I think about. I'm never like, oh, I'm going to get a bunch of money and then I'm going to go bang bad bitches in a hotel room. It's always like, I'm going to get a bunch of money so that I can create this, this, and this, and do this, this, and this. In a way that makes people feel this type of way. And helps them in this way. And I just feel like the only thing I'm missing is the right people. And people I feel might be like the people I go to, they've never helped. Oh shit, the camera's been off me this whole time. I should have had the camera on me. That would have made the content better, I think. But yeah, the cold air of the outside. Reality's kind of shaky lately. Reality's looking a little shaky. I heard that you can't run heaters for long periods of time with extension cords. So I haven't, or else I would have moved. But look, I was paranoid. I thought that they were looking out this window at me all day. So I was trying to like angle this right so that it would look like it was falling over. It's fucking plywood sealed. You can't get into this room. Plus, I don't know, is there a lock? Yeah, there is a lock on that. I thought there was not. Maybe I could hide in there. I'm sure they've had homeless people hide in there before. I mean, it's negative 17 degrees. I assume that everybody's got a little bit of a heart, and they're like, man, he's really stuck out here. But then I tried to write down a dream I had, and then crows started screaming it. I had a crow today. They were fucking with me. I had this blessing of light from God, I think, that the crows weren't able to attack, and the crow got so mad he started fucking with me. Just making different noises to try to confuse me to find a way back in. He made like car sounds. He made like a... It was like a... It felt like green, he made a green beep, a green sounding honk. He was just flying around me, trying different things to confuse me so that he could burrow his way back in to puppet me again. So that when he flew around, he could steal my blessings from the sky. And then he goes and gets his friends, and they all sit together. and I can feel them. They're like ancient dinosaurs. There's like this old darkness about them. And when they're cackling like that, they're converting energies. And it's painful sometimes. You know what tasted really good though? When I was eating the bread with this cheese. I'm out of bread now, but I was eating those small cut up pieces of bread with barbecue sauce, and then I'd eat cheese with it, and it was really good, man. Okay, let's get this back into position. I think if homework for the week, I would go buy a poster board from the dollar store, and I would start to really map out. Just the birds chirping. The birds are back to give me sweet confirmation. Down what you want from life. Like, don't just let your thoughts come in and out and just float away. Like these birds showing up and then leaving. And then you forget they're even there. Hear the birds chirping in different frequencies and patterns now because I tapped into inspiration. So the same way the crows caw to take the darkness, the birds are probably just as evil, but they're masked in the sweetness. And maybe they're here to support me in relaying this positive energy. They're chirping at the higher frequency. They're just here to control frequencies, by the way. That bird is maintaining the frequency, so I'm a more powerful. I'm making them freak out with my expansive nature of all the Sagittarians and the Jupiter of the 33 orange. I'm making them freak out, and then they're speaking in tongues at me to try to rope me back in. But get a poster board, write down, start to really map out. This is why I needed to hide in Section 8. I would have never been able to develop these skills with the birds out there. But you need to write your goals down and then start to write the steps to achieving those goals, and then find a simple, consistent life you can do that you know that even if you're depressed, you're going in the right way. And then that will allow you to put more pressure and exert more force to go further, going the distance. That's literally just the way of the Casey, way of the Sagittarius. That's all he is just working towards multiple things all the time with this everlasting love and everlasting expansive nature. So just figure out what you want to do in life. They do the computer sounds sometimes. They did a couple. They do be doing the couple computer sounds where the chirps start to sound robotic, like the old AOL codes. Because like they're trying to they're executing a program in real time, and they're using the sound that they make the same way God spoke the world into existence. They're speaking a program into existence to perpetuate, and they usually get right in front of my face and they block my peripheral vision because they live in a world I'm not able to perceive. So they're usually trying to connect tethers to me. They stay in my peripheral, and it's a spiritual war going on between probably ancient races of beings that use these physical vessels to operate in this realm, when in reality they live in a much greater realm that we access when we daydream and dream. So this bird is just like reiterating a frequency, spitting out, pumping out the program that everyone's like, you need to escape from. By the way, so imagine what I can't tell you. There are some things that I try to tell you and the sirens go off and I get hurt, violently hurt for trying to share with you. There are some things I literally can't share. Cracker. Folk and them. I miss my father every day. The kind of pain I pray don't fade away. And the ones above that guide me down the road. Yeah, grief is only love. There's got no place to go from my great granddad in the ground. The ghosts in my home down, yeah, they're the ones that guide me down the road. Yeah, grief is only love that's got no place to go. Grief is only love. It all comes back to me in a good way. It's all here. It's mine. I'm right here. I was getting too expressive and vulnerable and powerful and beautiful that the NPCs of the area have now come out and started just screaming at each other in conversation. It's almost like they're trying to divert my attention away, but they're not, because it's all coming back here. And look, meow, 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 meow. This is why I invent things. I need somebody that is good with electronics. Is anybody in the chat good with electronics that can work with technology for me to help me make something? The problem is I invent things that can be used for bad. So I'm afraid and reluctant to share the things that I create. The people that work for whatever this department is, Department of Water and Light, who I assume manage the parks. So or maybe not. I want to know who the fuck turned the electricity off, knowing it would kill me. They didn't know where I would go or what I would do if they turned the electricity off before it turned into negative 25, knowing I was sitting there running a heater. They either must have known that this place had an outlet because they've dealt with homeless people here before, so they must have figured I would eventually come over here. Or he was just like, I don't care where he goes. I don't care if he dies on the side of the road. I don't care if he freezes to death out by the river. You can't sit outside of empty park that nobody's at and nobody goes to. And I'm not going to say anything to you because I don't owe you anything. I'm not obligated to speak to you because you work at because you're living at a place my job is to caretake. So I'm going to shut you out until you leave. Go find a better place. Instead of being like, hey, maybe he's not going to survive out there, I should ask him what he's doing and say, hey, you can't stay here after this cold front is over. And then I would be like, yeah, the I'm here is because the cold front's over. You think I want to be here where no one talks to me and they all talk shit behind my back? You think I want to be a part of your community? No, I'm looking for a forever home. I'm trying to find my forever home because mine was stolen from me by people like you, rich that lie to the police to use them as a weapon to destroy our psychology forever. And you laugh at our misery. I don't think we get timber wolves, but I'm not originally from this area, so I don't know anything about northern Vermont. I know there's a lot of moose up here. I know there's a lot of bears up here. I haven't seen any of these bears, and I have seen a moose Canadian border. I took a shit next to a moose, and it watched me shit. It was a female moose. Or a young moose that hadn't grown its antlers yet. Taking a shit, and then I looked up, and then what I thought was just forest was actually the head of a sitting moose, and it was staring right at me. And then it got up, went, and then walked away. And then when I got out and walked up to the top, back to my car that needed a jump start, and I hadn't told anybody it needed a jump start, and I was going to find a way to work eventually. I was going to figure it out. There was just a tall Irishman standing there, and he had a thick Irish accent, and he said, you need a jump start. I said, I just figured it's probably Jesus or something. I don't know. Maybe it's an angel. He's like, I came from Island Pond. But with his accent, it sounds like he's saying, I came from Ireland Pond. God woke me up today and told me I had to come here. The same way that Frank said that God told him he was going to meet me and then took me to two Brians. Or Jessie said that the universe gave her a dream of me as a child teaching her how to fly before I gave her her first ever orgasm. And she cried multiple times because she just didn't realize how infinite the world was. And she's a Pisces, but she lived as a indigenous black woman to two biker white families, and the mom cheated. So she had no idea anything about life. And she had a kid. A guy named Isaac knocked her up and she gave birth to a Vinny. Who was a Sagittarius? They're both Sagittarius. You better leave me alone, phone him. How nosy can the white people get? I made it to Johnson. It's not different at all. The people here suck. Oh shit. It's hard to be a lizard. Tiny arms, itchy gizzard. Joe Rogan roasted Bo Burnham on his podcast. He said, you know what's comedy kind of sucks? Musical comedy. And then the guest was like, I know he's talking about Bo Burnham. There's no other musical comedians other than like Weird Al Yankovic. Go fuck yourself, you stupid whore. God damn. Okay, that's how it's gonna happen. Vincent? It's one of those many names that orbit me, like a ring around Saturn or a moon around a planet. And then she told me, so the first time I had sex with her was great. Second time I had sex with her was disgusting and evil and weird. And it was right at the lion. The first time I had hooked up with her was at the Lionsgate portal. And I felt like she was a pink snake and I was a tiger. I had a tiger spirit that was swatting at her pink snake. And then it turns out she's born in the year of the snake and I'm born in the year of the cat dragon. And then I get these ancestor readings all the time where they tell me that I earned the spirit of the tiger, and I earned the spirit of the polar bear, and I earned all these different animal totems on my totem pole. I earned them. They're mine. And then it was in the year of the tiger as well. So I probably embody, as a 33 life path, I probably am selfless enough to create and manifest a character based off of the year that we're living inside. Like I became a bear this year, and then last year I was probably a lion, and then eagle, dragon, tiger. And then during the year of the ox, I was fighting all the time, butting heads with people. In the year of the rat, I was stuck in COVID, hiding in my apartment. And then in the year of the pig, I was trying to commit suicide the whole time. But I originally started the year of the rat in 2007 was my first suicide attempt. So it only makes sense I tried to kill myself 5 times. Because it's the exponential greatness of where we started. Came back in simplified terms. So I'm starting off this cycle by the rat. I've been adventuring and traveling, and then hiding, and then creating. That's why the native... I feel bad about the native juice. I didn't mean to hide him, but I think he said something that I thought was snarky. Whenever people say things that I think are snarky or like competitive for no reason, it was kind of weird that I was talking about how people steal my ideas and portray my ideas in their stuff, and then Derek showed up and said, "Can I take your content and use it for my own content?" You know what I'm saying? But that's okay. As long as it doesn't spiritually steal from me. Which, that can get a little schizo. That can get a little, what people would think is kind of not manly. To be like, I'm worried you're going to take my energy. We don't care about your feelings. Oh yeah, but she said, I don't know. I'm not going to call you OCK. But of Cowboys and Kings, how old are you, man? And where are you from? We know Palm Bears is now 42 and lives in England. I don't know how old Heather is, but she lives in West Virginia. Battle for your brain. I forgot how old he is. I think he might be in his 60s. He's older. Got a fire in my laser. I think my fan base, my subscriber base is mostly 25 to 30. Actually, it's even. I have just enough people. I have the same amount of people. It's like 25. It's like 25% the whole way. Around mid-20s for every age group. So there's like 25% of my people that watch this are 13 years old to 18. 25% is 20 to 30. 25% is 30 to 60. And then 25% is 60 plus. I've got a really good subscriber base of, there's around 500 people, and about, what's a quarter of 500? %20 of 500 is 10. So like 125, 250. Yeah. 125 of my subscribers is 13 to 18 and still in school. 25% of my subscribers is around my age, 20 to 30, and so forth. And then it jumps from like 30 to 60, and then 60 to 60 plus. I don't know. I think that's better. It's harder because the more people here, the more potential I have to meet people that have the skills I need to make what I want happen. But the more people are here, the more dangerous it's gonna get. Like it's gonna be to a point where it's not safe for me to exist. Because there will always be the threat of people. It's going to be tough. Which is why I might take a break. My hair reflects my state of mind. So it's messy and raggled because I'm hiding in the woods. When I'm safe in the woods and the tent is on flat ground, my hair looks like it changes every day. But it's always like this cool, unique shape that frames my face in a way that brings this cool vibe with it. I highlighted on accident. Are people liking the highlights? Are people liking the random highlight videos that are just like random dreams? They're like not hard to make sense. And they say drop a bunch of bombs. Should I be peddling my Cash App? I wanted to get a whiteboard and put a whiteboard in the back here. That has my subscriber goal and has a money goal to get me to a certain point. And then I'll have milestones on the GoFundMe. Basically, I don't know what to do. Time is moving too quickly to do what I want. In November and December, I should have been in the gym working out, or I should have been outside working out. Just at nighttime, I should have been going on long walks. And I should have been designing merch. Instead, I cycled in Groundhog Day every day, paranoid. Not really paranoid, but just suffering. Just genuinely suffering. Oh, you know what might be the problem here? One side is taking all the electricity, and it's burning the top and the outside. So the heat, probably because it's not on a flat, grounded plane, the heat is dispersed unevenly. So that's been fucking up the heat and making it turn off quickly. Bing, bong, boom, 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 bop, bam. The type of shit I'm on you wouldn't understand. The type of skits I'm on you wouldn't understand. Big dog business, I will not hold your hand. Bing, bong, boom, bop, boom, boom, bam. The type of shit I'm on you wouldn't understand. The type of skits I'm on you wouldn't understand. Oh shit, I just got it. I thought he means skits, like YouTube skits. Like the song he makes is like cinematic and funny, aimed at Drake. But also, he means schizophrenic. The type of schizo I'm on, you wouldn't understand. Kung Fu Kenny coming at you with the pro mental illness is made up spirituality, and that black people are indigenous. Yay! Yay! The sun's gonna go down. The sun's gonna go down. Where'd my jawline go? Where'd my jawline go? They fucked with me too much. When am I gonna get my energy back? From the cops, fat, middle-aged cops used their qualified immunity to destroy me. To play stupid power games, to level up by stealing my spirituality stuff. And they call it a game, but really it's literal rape, and they think they can get away with it, and they do get away with it all the time. It's corrupted their minds, and that's why they act like angry people. Where's my justice? I was told I was going to receive justice. I'm saving for a tool belt and a guitar. And then I wanted a 3D printer. This year was amazing. The story of this year was amazing. The journey I went on was amazing. The filter of reality over my narrative was. I need help making it. People are like, you need help. I need help creating these amazing ideas I have in my head. I'm living a unique life that allows me to create at such a high level of epicness. Derek said he mentions me in a song, and he wants to use clips of my content to put in his music video. Phone him. It's all good. I didn't have all messages on, gang. I probably missed a lot of what you said. So we're just waiting to see who pops in. I want to hear how my friends down in West Virginia are doing. Where's Heather at? Where's my phone at? I have a second phone in this tent, and I'm worried that it got ruined. But I don't want to get up and move, because the crows have destroyed my psychology to be free, which I love because it means I can find a new way to break free from it, and that constant rebirth is where I love to live. It's all part of the process, gang. I know people are poor. I don't expect it. But why not see? See if they'll take it down. It might end my live stream if I try this. Bing bam boom 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 bam bam. The type of shit I'm on you wouldn't understand. The type of skits I'm on you wouldn't understand. He means skits, and he means schizophrenic. He means creating content, and he means embodying higher levels of spirituality. Bing bop boom 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 bop bam. The type of skits I'm on you wouldn't understand. Phone him. I've been doing this for 2.5 hours, man. If I set it to gas station, I think if I had the stream running like this, I think I could enjoy gas station work. I need to find a job. Like, why can't my gas station allow me to have a pull-up and dip station in the gas station? Why can't they let me do activities while I'm standing at the register to keep me engaged so that it's not a hell-wrenching, horrible experience of boringness? Why can't they let me study while I'm sitting there? Like, reading a book isn't going to distract me. It's going to heighten my senses. It probably depends on which gas station. If I ran a gas station, I would allow there to be a gym section of the gas station so that people could pop in and do a couple sets if they wanted to. I would just have like a sign that says, if you want to do this, we are not liable for any injury you might sustain. So that while you're like driving on the road, you could come in and do a couple sets before you leave to like mentally pump you up before you go. I'd also install a shower where, in order to get in, you had to pay with a credit card or cash at the front, and the water had a limited time, and then you had a like 4-minute window after the water turns off to get out and get your stuff and get going. And there would be a needle box, and then if I found a needle in there after you, that way it would give my employees something to do. Like, after every time the shower was used, a little bing would pop up at the desk to know that it's in use. So then afterwards it goes, shower time, and then the employee has to go and clean the shower and then make sure that there's no needles or no garbage, and then go right back to work. Do I want to find someone on the internet to develop the software to help me make that happen and then go install that into this maple field? No. The world might end. Sagittarius season is coming up. Ooh. So Sagittarius, the reason that every Sag has been having a pretty shit life, full of like conflict and oppression and trauma and gaslighting, is because there was this process. There's been a pressure that's over the Sagittarian energy since 2008 that frees up at the end of the cycle. The world is going to change. I'm excited to see what God is going to do in the year of the fire monkey in 2028. Because my dad is a fire monkey with a 3 life path, and 2028 is a fire monkey year with a 3 life path. It's a 3 year, so it's a 3 energy. It adds up to 3. 2 to 8 is 12, which adds up to 3. All right, we'll go to, I can't see the time. You think Trump will score? With who? I think they make up wars just so presidents can seem cool when they end them, so that they can make history. And that's a gift that they get for doing a whole bunch of other satanic rituals. Like, it's a cult that they're all in. So Biden had to start a war so that Trump could be the one to end it, to make himself look like a grand leader. So that and the whole world was stuck in a state of consciousness based off of the 5G towers that the Biden administration implemented, just to make Trump look cooler because his name is Donald Trump. He means the Trump of the rulers of the world. And because he's on Fifth Street, so he's like a fork in the road. You can either go to the timeline where he trumps the world, or the world trumps him. Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, biding his time, waiting around, sleeping. Joe, bye then. Because the old world leaves as Joe leaves, and that's why he was the first ever president to apologize to the Native Americans. Joe Biden was the first president to make a formal apology to the Native Americans since the country's been founded. He's the only president that's ever apologized to the Native Americans. Joe Biden doesn't live in Trump Tower. He has a nice house. He has a nice, like, single family home. It's not big at all. On purpose, to have the intimate family setting. He's a good guy. Even if he used to bullshit and lie his way through politics when he was young, at the end of it, he became a good man. And it was really cool to see his old debates and then see who he became. Like, I like the way he talked to the people. After his presidency was basically over and he lost. Kamala lost. And then they showed clips of Biden just walking around, hanging out with his family. And seeing his extended family that would, like, take TikToks of him showing up to family reunions. Because Joe Biden was to meet the rest of his family. So he, like, made an effort to throw big get-togethers for his entire family. My family won't even let me onto their property. Like, I showed up on the 4th of July because by happenstance I happened to be in the area. Because I was forced to be there. Because I got kicked out of another motel. And my first motel burned down, which forced me to go to a new motel. And in that motel, there was too many fights. Like, this kid kept trying to fight me. So they kicked me out and they kicked his girlfriend out. Because he was already kicked out. So then I had to go and drive, and I had to take a bus and then drive something like 2 hours into New York to Saranac Lake. And then my family owns an island out there that I didn't know about. So before I knew anything about the indigenous story, I stole a canoe and I paddled out there. And that side of the family wouldn't let me on the island, and they barely spoke to me. They didn't treat me like a person. They were very defensive. They didn't believe me, I don't think. And my uncle wouldn't even look me in the eyes. And then they got to watch me paddle back ashore. And I just listened to rich white kids yell at their girlfriends at the lake, just paddling around. And there was a guy on the other side of the island fishing by himself. And there was a bunch of rich kids with their girlfriends, and the rich kids were basically just ordering them around the whole time. Like they were descendants of slave masters, and that's their culture. They couldn't. From what I've seen, the rich white kids can't have fun with their girlfriend. They have to keep her constantly in a state of submission. So everything they do is just forcing their girl to submit. And if you don't like it, you can leave. That's all kids is that, and then flexing their money at each other with their expensive trucks. And then I DoorDashed at Lake George, and the only people that were excited to see me were Chinese places, and then there was so many people out there walking around, and we were still trapped in the Matrix. This was the year of the tiger. People were just passing out, like young girls and random strangers were like walking around twitching. Karens were going crazy back then. It was a year of aggression. Tigers are aggressive years. So everybody was fighting off the system. And so I would just walk around and be like, "You good?" And they would like, people would feel my energy for the first time. It was also a year of green and orange. Irish culture was huge. That's when Zach Bryan blew up. That's when Noah Khan blew up. Because it was also a 6 year, which is semi 33 energy. It was a good year, man. It was green and orange. And then Sundance felt like blue leading up to this giant golden yellow with like greens and yellows and oranges intermixed. And then there was, at nighttime, it was dark black and red with this high emphasis on like this fiery, watery beliefs. And then 2024 was maroon, brown, deep gray, dark earthy colors, and then dark white lightning, dark clouds that are gray with white lightning. And then 2025, I won't tell you what it feels like, but I've already told you a little bit. Hey, somebody voted. I'm waiting till nightfall to leave. And then I'm gonna put my boot liners in, find my wallet, and I'm gonna go get some Chinese food. Come back and probably watch some tarot. I want to find my phone. So let's put everything into this bag. I guarantee you my parents or my family is still stalking you guys. Imagine talking so much shit on the internet, but obsessing about me. My family obsesses about me. And they've done me so wrong, I can't forgive them. And I've had to cope with just leaving them behind. I don't care anymore. I used to fight every single day to get property for us so that we could escape the Matrix and put all our money together to get rich together and everyone can be happy and live their dreams. And then every time I showed up, they treated me so bad. Now I just hope that they die. I hope they die. I forgive them, but I don't feel like justice will be served until they get what they gave. And they're not able to recognize what they gave. Oh, you know what? Stewart Shops takes food stamps. The application at the gas station they gave me is they're owned by Stewart's. And Stewart's has some pretty good stuff. They've got like orange cream milk, which is pretty freaking delicious. Okay, it's starting to get so cold that I need to start. I can't just sit out here. I need to set the tarp back up above me. And I need to get back into the cycle of the heating. Because the cold is draining in so fast and the heater heats up too quick that it pops. And I could bet I'm the only chink that could say, this for the homies I broke bread with, split a 50 when we were still on EBT. I'm trying to move the whole gang out the hood to the whole team good, whole team going, so the whole fam good, whole team going eat. This ain't about love, about money. This is family ties. If I'm Kendrick, then they baby Keen. Children, it's the motto by any means. I knew I was destined for the limelight. I get high and fight back when the time's right. There's no way they could take away my mind sight. Cause I came off of Legos and a light bright. I could knock a bitch out like I'm Mike Tice. I said I'll knock a bitch out like I'm Mike Vick. And I got about 1,000 kids bumping my shit. Get the fuck off my dick before I cancel y'all at Christmas. I've been on the phone lines for a minute, psychologically killing these bitches. All of my women invested in fitness. I run a business investing in the holy missions and building a kingdom off the grid with no emissions. From Maiden out to Colorado, Miami to Oahu, I've been told y'all I could go the distance. I don't give a fuck about the who's who. Like I'm Zeus. I'm the problem and the proof. I tell your pastor what to do. I just designed a stage for crickets, chickens, kale, and spinach. Soldier in a coop. I got soldiers in this coop. I'm an Afro-Irish king and my mother was a Jew. You can't tell me what the fuck to do. I'm a big button heads with moose. I just went around New England training troops. And the beat is something the world has never heard before. I don't know how to reach out. I was building this platform so that it would be more appetizing for people to reach out. When I reached out to people in their comment section and asked to build with them. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to have my main set of subscribers narcissistic, gaslighting haters that are so stuck in their own mental illness and derangement. It's impeding my progress to even acknowledge their existence. The main people that watch me are so messed up in the head, and they come at me all the time. My family? No. I've never had a conversation with my mother that hasn't resulted in her crying or screaming. We're gonna see if the Wi-Fi turns on. My family's never said how, like my mom, for the most part, she screams, "You need help! You need help! You need help! You need help!" And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I mean, I wish I had an investor to help me with my album. I'm really proud of what I made. And I wouldn't have been able to make it if I hadn't gone through these circumstances. And I've gone through things that nobody else will ever go through because they've lived a privileged, comfortable, stupid life. So I'm so proud of what I've become. You know, like, don't you, as a father, I think my dad should be proud of what I've overcame and how I've been able to stand up to police. But yeah, I could have taken it further and done greater things. I'm not saying I didn't. Like, I could have taken advantage of being on the ground to consistently start and grow from the ground up in new directions. But instead what I did is just stay on the ground and crawled. I get it. That sucks. But it's a year of my life that I really valued, and even if I didn't do all the things I wish that I could have, I'm proud of the things that I did. And I'm sure it's a lot more than most people have done. Most people just sit in their house and do nothing. And I can bet I'm the only chick that could say nigga. This for the homies I broke bread with, split a 50 when we were still on EBT. I'm trying to move the whole gang out the hood till the whole team good. Whole team don't eat. This ain't about blood, about money. This is family ties. If I'm Kendrick, then they baby. See, that sucks. That song, trash. Only good because the collective conscious is watching it enough to invest This enemy expected me to break, but my heart is too pure, is the first video on my notifications. Next one is about picking up girls, and then Trump's full speech. His inauguration speech, which happens to be 30 minutes and 3 seconds. 3003. This timeline is collapsing. Release the police to receive. The Leo energy I was talking about channeling earlier that lives nearby, and he's got how many subscribers? This guy released a video saying, let go of the police timeline in order to receive blessings. I hate when people show up. Then they're saying, so high, I'm received as a glitch in the subconscious. And I have 8 notifications on YouTube. Does everyone like how this looks? I think it's pretty cool. Did anybody laugh? Did anyone laugh at this? I'm Gumby. I'm fucking Gumby. You heard? I'm fucking Gumby, you heard? This is what I meant. Oh shit. Someone 23 minutes ago hearted my comment. A bad baby liked my comment. She's not going to comment because I'm fucking crazy. But she acknowledged me. I made a crazy ass comment. She's an army woman with 26,000 subscribers. That look, she's got the exalted tree behind her. Exalted tree, and she's my type, dark hair, dark eyes. She's a baddie. I don't know if she is a fatty, but she's hot as hell. And she looks like a little doll. I like her. I like her a lot. In all the videos that she talks about me, she's wearing stuff that I used to think was really, really attractive on my exes. And she has 33 tattooed on her fingers. She gets it. She gets me like no one else. And she has a cat that's orange. That's my cat. It could be my cat. I'll move in. I'm homosexual. I'm attracted to women with houses I can live in. This ain't about blood, about money. This is family ties. If I'm Kendrick, then they're baby Keem. Okay. Back in my day, we used to make the tortoise snap our fingers off. Back in my day, we used to pepper spray our kids for fun. Back in my day, I used to pepper spray kids for no reason. Just for sleeping outside and stealing a propane tank to survive. Pepper sprayed a stranger after screaming at him like a crazy person. A fucking nut job. Back in my day, that was okay because nobody held us accountable, and they still don't because Vermont doesn't give a fuck. The lawyers and the court systems are just as pathetic as we are. We don't care about justice. Back in my day, you do the crime, you do the time. Unless you're me, I can do whatever I want because I have a badge. I'll watch your whole family. I'll rape your daughter. That's what they did. They do all sorts of shit. What the fuck is going on? These notifications are fucking weird. They're giving me weird ass I think they're just shooting blanks because they don't have a good profile of me yet. So they're just throwing shit at the wall to see what I click on. But they posted, "I miss you," and she kind of looks like my ex. Oh, it's a filter. It's a filter. I'm very feel. Kiwi Marie? Who are all these fucking people? Who are all these random strangers? See, but how does it know? This is my friend's ex. I don't even have her on Facebook. Haven't spoken to her in years. I had her on Snapchat before she started dating my ex. Before she started dating my friend, and then they broke up. Like, same with this bitch. She's from a town I haven't been to since 2017. This girl's from my hometown. My Facebook is not connected. These people, and I don't have, oh, you know what it is? It's facial recognition. And they've found my face in my, I have one friend on Snapchat. And he has a bunch of people on Snapchat. So they found my face. Then they found my location. Then they found other people from that location. And they're suggesting it to me. That's fucked up, Snapchat. Okay, it's starting to get cold. It says it's 12. I don't think it's 12. I know it's warmer than it was last night. It feels like 5. Tonight, the lowest low is going to be -10, which means it's going to feel like -25 again. Because last night it felt like -20, and it was at -6 degrees. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to get cold. It's going to get really cold. I'm trying to leave at 7. To get there before 8. Palm Bears, what the fuck does that mean? What are you trying to tell me here? Well, the accounts that it showed me were from a location that I recently posted on Facebook. I posted a memory from a Facebook message that was once posted on Snapchat on a different account. They took everyone that was in that video that wasn't even on the camera It was the people that were sitting off camera. And they suggested to me those people. Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. It's cold. I need to be wrapped up warm. This is what I want. I want a Dodge Challenger. I wish I could go back to 2023 and bless myself with this car. That's all I want. This is a $60,000 car. That probably won't even do well on a back road. That's what I want. Look at that. Let me see the inside. It's got the big 11 on the stripes. I knew it had red seats. It would take me 2 years to buy that if I bought nothing else. What? Get a suit of armor for $2,000. Imagine pulling up to a First Amendment audit like this. Who's gonna pay for it? There's a van down the street. This one's about... This is cool for $11,000. He said it'll take 5,000. It's in Burlington. He said it'll take 5,000 down, 500 a month. Which means if I 1 week of the month, I pull 50 hours. So I work overtime. 1 week of a month, I could pay for this. And then that's not the type of suggestions I'm looking for, fam. I'm trying to see people that want to work together to make a difference. Not really like, you should go. Sometimes they give me good ideas. For the most part, people that come in here and suggest me things I've already thought about for a long time, and I just act like I haven't thought about it because I appreciate that they care so much. That they like take time out of their day to sort of escape into my life. Which is this is cool. A 650cc four-wheeler. It's called Brute Force. It's 650, which adds up to 11. It's an 06, which is 33. And how close is it to me? It's about 2 weeks of full-time work at the gas station. It's a 8-hour bike ride to get there. It's 98 miles away from where I am. Let's see how far it is to my hometown. It's just, I'm 150 miles from my hometown. That's how far away I've gone. Let's see. So let's say hey, does this look familiar, guys? This is where I broke down. This is the park where this year's joke started. So guess how far away I am. I am 500 feet higher in elevation, and I am a 22-hour walk away. Wait, but that's not the way I took. I took this way. That's not the way I took either. I have to add a stop in Waterbury. Waterbury, Vermont. And I have to add a stop. Montpelier. So I've taken multiple trips, but in one direction, from where I started to where I ended, I've made it 70 miles plus. but I've also, like, I've ridden my bike. I rode my bike from here all the way halfway, and then I've also ridden my bike from here all the way back down. So I've gone that distance, and then I've also taken multiple trips back and forth. I sound like RFK Jr. for a second. Plus, just around this area, it was like a mile to the McDonald's. See, look. That's how far I had to walk from the McDonald's back into town. If I wanted food, I had to walk this whole thing, and I would do it twice a week sometimes. Because the bus would only come at specific days, and it was really hard to do. So sometimes I had to walk all the way from McDonald's to Shaw's. So that is 3.5 miles. So often I was walking over 10 miles a day. Because this Cumbies would lie and say they didn't take food stamps when they did. And the barn attacked me. So then this is where I hid. And Floyd's store made it clear I wasn't welcome. So I would go. I mean, if you look on Google Maps, it says this is Vermont State University. And then if you look at where I was picked up because I was technically trespassed, it says Vermont Technical College, Shape. That's a completely different place. It says Vermont Technical College. It does not say Vermont State University. So on Google, I'd have no idea if they were the same organization. Just FYI. And then we had a tornado that destroyed, supposedly, I know we had a flood that destroyed many of these towns surrounding, got destroyed in the flood, completely. Especially up a little bit north and up in Plainfield, got wiped, the whole town got wiped out. They were saying there was going to be a tornado. And it was like on my phone, it was a really high chance of it becoming a tornado. So where did I start? Technically, let's do all the stops. So I'll show you where I transferred over. So I started this year in Ludlow. I started the Year of the Dragon in Ludlow. And then I wound up in Pittsford. That's where my car broke down after Ludlow. So that's already 32 miles. Then I went to Brandon. Well, then we went to Brattleboro for a couple days because I had court. Then we went back to Pittsford. – . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Then I wound up in Brandon. And that's just not counting like the days that I would be walking to different jobs. Then I went to Killington, and I lived at the Killington Resort. Then I didn't have enough gas to get to the top of the mountain, and I couldn't take the bus in time, and I didn't have phone service or Wi-Fi, so they fired me because they wouldn't let me sleep nearby, and I didn't have Wi-Fi, and it was freezing cold, and I couldn't sleep. So I'd have to go to the Killington Library. No, I volunteer here. Some of it. I think that's some of my stuff. There are people here that shouldn't be here. So, in just the first 2 months of this year, so from January of 2024, and January 2024 to the year of the dragon, I've gone more than 300 miles. And that's before I even made it to Randolph. You can clip that. I don't like that there are people here when they shouldn't be. Palm Bear's logo is SpongeBob on a horse as a cowboy. Then we have of Cowboys and Kings. Then I was talking about people stealing my content, and then somebody came in and said, "You don't mind if I take your content, do you?" And it was the exact person I was talking about. So in just the first month, this was the journey. To Randolph without adding any stops. So like without stopping for gas and like seeing all the different places, just the cities that I was stuck in for long periods of time, I drove 294 miles. It actually ends up, it morphs into the shape of an S the whole way. So let's screenshot that so I can overlay the other one over it. Okay. Isn't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Let's start at Randolph. Where the it ended in Randolph? Randolph. Park Street, Randolph. And then from Randolph, I went to White River Junction. Then back. Then Roxbury. Then north. Then we'll skip over. We can go to. We'll skip over We'll skip over Northfield because it's on the same route. Then I was in Montpelier. Then I went to Mooresville. Then I went to St. Johnsbury twice. But we won't count it the second time. Then we went to Johnson. So and that's what this journey looks like. So that's 199 miles without adding stops. Like I went to Waterbury. I went all over. So I've done well over 600 miles. And about 300 of them without adding in all the daily travels between places. Like sometimes I'd have to walk 5 or 6 miles. I've done at least 500 on foot and on bike. And I only really drove distance-wise another like 400 on bus or driving or rides. So in the year of the dragon, I went a lot of distance and now I feel comfortable. Suddenly. So I'm going to go and then I will start back up in a couple hours when I walk to Johnson to get my Chinese chicken and walk to Maple Fields to pick up some smokes or a black and mild. Probably just a black and mild. We got another 3 hours down. I think that means that I am only 1,020 hours away from monetization. And I have to do that and maintain that 3,000 hours a year. So I'm going to go, and then I'm going to pop in a couple hours. Later, loser.